Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi, and our energy mantra for today is I breathe in, I breathe out, and I remember the power running through me. So you might ask why I pause before I say the date, because in front of me I have a thing saying it's November 12th. And so I have to say, no, it's November 13th. And it confuses my brain every time. It's like, no, it says right there in front of you. This is part of the work, right? Today is an interesting day. Today is our final lunar square with Pluto. And when I took a glance at the astro, I was like, no big deal. And I pulled the cards, and I pulled some interesting cards. I pulled the fighting, I pulled the intensity, I pulled the sorrow, and I was like, wait, what? And I'm looking at the chart, and I'm like, oh, whoa, Moon in Aries, square Pluto. This is the last one. I breathe in, I breathe out, and I feel my inner power thrumming through me. We feel the power thrumming through us as we face this final lunar square. We do not have Moon in Cancer squaring Pluto. Pluto, before that reaches that square, Pluto's gonna like skedaddle into Aquarius. We're down to the last little bit, and Pluto wants to do the most. Now, is Pluto's work in Capricorn done when it moves into Aquarius? No. Because that's like saying, the image that comes to me is like a boat moving across the water. Like, it's gone, but there's still waves. There's still evidence of it having been there, right? It's the same thing energetically with planets. So there is still plutonic colonic unfolding to happen, and not to mention what Pluto's going to do in Aquarius. Like, that's a whole different ballgame, but there's still evidence of that. So even though it's shifting, we will still have that. But this square, this is the last square. And oh my gosh, it's all coming together. The card that I pulled from the shapeshifter is so interesting. Capricorn is such an interesting sign because there's always, I would say, that the higher unfolding of a sign, and then there's always more of a, I don't want to call it lower, but like other way of unfolding the sign. I think the highest form of Capricorn is where we recognize that our purpose is soul-led and tap into our most soulful, spirit-aligned selves. And at the same time, Capricorn can show us what's happening in society and have us want to, look good in society. Capricorn, I mean, this is the card of Capricorn in the Tarot. It's the Devil card. In this deck, it's called Conditioning. But Capricorn can be that temptation to forget about the soul work and just work on the do I look good to other humans level. Do I have good upstanding? And it's, fine. Have a little of both, right? But this astro, as the moon runs over Chiron today and then builds to this square with Pluto, is reminding us, to thine own self be true. And again, you can have both. Sometimes. Maybe not if you're Joan of Arc, right? That's not a fair comparison. But she honored her soul. She was like, I'm not afraid. I was here to born to do this, or whatever her quote is. It's the same for us in shifting ourselves away from the societal narrative of the American dream or what anybody says that you should be doing. My path has been full of shoulds, and my path has been like, you're going this way. Like, it doesn't matter about the shoulds. Can't say that was easy. I can't say that it's ever easy, and yet it feels so aligned. And that's what we want to do with ourselves. Chiron is going to be continuing in Aries through the next year plus, and helping us continue to shed off layers of who we are not so that we can embrace our unencumbered selves, our unconditioned selves. Here we are as this lion, the power thrumming through you, right? There's the lion who is wearing a sheep to fit in. And while the sheep are really cute, a lion is meant to be a lion. Who are you? And what did you come to be? And Pluto square the moon in Aries is encouraging you to lean into who you came to be, to lean into your I am, to recognize where you hide yourself, where you camouflage yourself, where you condition yourself to fit into society. And you're probably going to feel the tension build as we get to the end of the day, because that moon Pluto square is not going to happen till 10:50 p.m. But even if you're in bed, there's a good chance you're going to get hit with some of the ire and some of the frustration and some of the intensity and maybe even the sorrow of this. These cards are so fascinating. These are so on point. And where are we leading to? The Fool. But it's right here. This new journey of unencumbered self, of true self. Let me show you this card, because like I pulled it and I was like, oh, I like this card, and then kind of put it to the side, not really thinking of it. Mermaid in a koi pond, and it says, rediscover your individuality, become the dragon, be the lion. It says you've taken on the markings of others, their hues, their tones, their voices, their mannerisms without even knowing it. It's time to swim free and find yourself. Remember who you are, basically. Kind of a calling in and through this. So it's such potent energy for us in this. Now, like I said, the moon is going to cross Chiron on the path there. And that Chiron energy is hopefully healing for the self, you know, as we prepare to meet Pluto, as we prepare to maybe might have a little, I don't know, a moment where you're like, that's not who I am. This is who I am, and this is how I'm going to be. Now, let's move another layer. We have the sun today shifting from 21 degrees to 22 degrees. 22 degrees is the final revolution evolution of Sun in Scorpio, and this is where we may get some triggers coming on. So watch for those popping up in this energy, and a trigger is just showing you what you're ready to face, what you're ready to do some healing work around. Things don't come up for you before you're ready. You may not be ready to fully dive in, but recognize anything that's triggering you is showing you where you may be ready to peel a layer. Now, I also want to mention that this full moon that we have building, I took such a pretty picture of it when I was outside before. This full moon that's building is going to be conjunct Uranus. Like, it's off by like a degree, half a degree. It's very close to the Uranus energy. And that's also going to be very triggering. And so this energy's building, and this Pluto finale is building, and we're feeling it in our bodies. Breathe in, breathe out, ground yourself, show up for the work, recognize this place of conditioning, recognize that the triggers are here to help you peel through these layers. And I would say too, you know, I'm looking at this chart and I'm seeing like the end of this yod happening. We had this Scorpio yod, but it's still there. So working with your mind, you know, to help move through these layers can be super supportive in this energy. Oh, one last thing that I do want to mention. Ugh. Evening may not be fun. We also have Venus and Mars building to an inconjunct. That's going to be happening early in the morning on Thursday, on the 14th. We have Venus in Capricorn, Mars in Leo. Leo and Capricorn are really interesting because both want to be leaders, right? And so that may be part of some of these challenges that we're facing. Like, how can we work together and both be leaders? And I think a lot of like strong couples can feel that kind of energy. Like, how do we each know where to lead and where to follow? And you may find that even in your internal terrain, the yin being like, hey, my intuition says move this way, and the yang is like, hey, if we follow society's rules, we will be safe, and safe is good, right? Like, how do we blend these energies? And that might be part of all of that is unfolding as well. So good luck. We can do this. Here's one of the benefits of Astro. We know this is happening today. We know it's going to be a challenge. Just because we know it's a challenge doesn't mean that the challenge doesn't happen. I so wish, like, I have awareness of it, so I don't have to go there. No, it doesn't work that way. But hopefully we have better ability to maneuver it, being that we know that this challenge energy is happening. We can recognize what our individual lesson is, and hopefully stay as conscious through it rather than super reactive, because this could be a little reactive, right? Like the fighting card and the intensity card right next to each other, it's a little reactive. So this energy is definitely a little reactive, but sometimes we need a little reaction to shake the monkey off our back, so to speak. So no more sheep. We thrum with the power of lions, and we hold peace and love to help us move through as well. So, gonna leave that there for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. And the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power. And remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.